Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to talk about none other than the iPhone 5S and how it holds up in mid-2020. Now, actually my early 2020 review, basically my full in-depth review early on this year, that video actually still gets a lot of traction, which means that a lot of people are still interested on how the iPhone 5S is holding up. So I wasn't even going to do this video until I looked at that video, and a ton of people were interested in that, so I have to go and update it for you guys. Now, here's the craziest thing, okay? This phone came out in 2013, and the fact that, okay, not only that it's still relevant, people still want to look it up and see how it's still doing in 2020, but also the fact that Apple is still kind of supporting this thing up until now is so insane to me. It's just the craziest thing ever. This phone has gotten a 7-year lifespan of sorts on updates, and it's such an important thing to note because, you know, Apple's dedication to long-term support is awesome, and I love seeing that. But also with the 5S, like, it's still a pretty decently smooth phone for being a 2013 phone. It's pretty stable. Yeah, it's slow and everything when you compare it to other phones, but the mix of build quality and the performance and just the year it came out, like, it's pretty insane in my opinion. Now on the front, you still have that 4-inch panel. Nothing happened there. 640p. And it's still pretty good. I mean, you know, the same thing as the iPhone SE. Like, it's not a bad panel at all. You have the lightning port, the headphone jack on the bottom, and on the back, you know, a sleek aluminum build with glass on the top and bottom. Still one of the most well-built iPhones in my opinion. I cannot wait for the iPhone 12s to come out, for them to totally change up the whole entire style and bring back the flat sides. That would be awesome. The way this phone feels in the hand is still great, and I really don't have any complaints with the body. Maybe it's a little bit too small, but again, back in this time, this was kind of what it was trending, so it's totally understandable. And I totally think, bro, this phone in and of itself is amazing in terms of the build quality and how it holds up even now. So that definitely gets the thumbs up in my books. Now, software wise, this is the place where it's just insane in my head. So as you guys may not know, this thing started off with iOS 7, which was like 7 versions of software go almost, and that's pretty crazy. And this thing didn't get iOS 13, but it's totally okay because it still got iOS 12. And most people thought it was going to stop at iOS 11, to be honest. People didn't even think it was going to get iOS 11, which was pretty funny. Now with iOS 12, not only did it get, you know, the software versions at the same time the XS did and all these phones, but it also has been getting security updates since then and up until now. So even once iOS 13 came out, Apple was still supporting iOS 12 for the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, and the iPhone 5S, which is insane. And like I said before, their dedication to this type of software update lifecycle is insane, and it's one of the best things Apple's ever done for themselves. It's really made their whole entire image really kind of be presented in a way that's, you know, is basically one of Apple trying to maintain customer loyalty. And I think that's an awesome thing, bro. That's one of the smartest things they've ever done. So this thing is still getting software updates. We still have that checkmark jailbreak, which is awesome. And I've jailbroken my iPhone 5S and I had a really good time with it. I was able to install a bunch of tweaks with it, and it was a really fun video that I did, and I really enjoyed it, to be honest. So in terms of software, I mean, that pretty much covers it. Performance is about the same too. You still have that dual core CPU in it with 1 gig of RAM with that Apple A7 chip. And, you know, like I said before, it's not the fastest thing ever, but when you remember how old this phone is, that's when things start changing. You're like, wow, like, it's actually really pretty decent. Like, if I really had to use this phone on an everyday basis, like if I really needed to, I could probably get by. Like, I wouldn't really care too much. I mean, I can really do everything I can do on my 11 Pro on this, like FaceTime, iMessage. Those are really the two main things, and things like Snapchat and like Instagram. I could honestly probably get by, but I would probably end up jailbreaking my 5S just so I can get the gestures back. But I think overall, even the performance of this thing is still pretty decent. You have an 8 megapixel camera on the back and a 1.2 megapixel camera on the front, and their cameras, like I stated, I mean, they'll get the job done. Other than that, I mean, it is what it is. It's not the best camera in the world. It wasn't the best, I don't even think, at the time, but it gets the job done, and I think that's probably the best way I can put it. And then they got off with the battery life. This thing has a 1560 mAh battery inside of it. Definitely not a big size battery, but definitely not a small size battery either. You know, I think it's a good size battery for what it was at the time. I probably, like I said, I probably wouldn't, like, you know, depend on this battery life too much, but I think for the most part, it gets the job done. And I think that's what's really, really important about it. So you can always replace it. Repairability of this phone is very, very cheap for the most part. So you can easily, if you crack the screen or you need a new battery or whatever have you you can easily get it replaced for the most part. So in terms of everything, bro, in terms of how this phone still holds up in the middle of 2020, I'll definitely tell you it gets the job done, and it surprises me every time this thing still even turns on. And on top of that, the fact that this thing even still gets software updates is crazy, that it's super relevant now, which is mind-boggling. So that's really pretty much it, guys. If you have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.